All minds clear? All right, this is Devarim, or Deuteronomy chapter 6 at verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Yisrael,
Yahuwah Eloheinu, Yahuwah Echad. Exodus, or Shemot chapter 20 at verse 3. We will have no other mighty ones.
We will have no other mighty ones
against the Most High.
Against the Most High.
We will not make any carved image.
We will not make any carved image
or any likeness.
Of
that which is in Shamayim above.
Of that which is in Shamayim above.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the earth beneath.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
Or which is in the waters under the earth.
We will not bow down to them.
We will not bow down to them.
Nor serve them.
Nor serve them.
For Yahuwah our El.
For Yahuwah our El.
Is a jealous El.
Is a jealous El.
Visiting the wickedness.
Visiting the wickedness.
Of the fathers on the children.
Of the fathers on the children.
To the third and fourth generation.
The third and fourth generation.
Of those that hate him.
Of those that hate him.
But showing kindness. To thousands of those. Who love him. And keep his commandments.
And keep his commandments.
We will not bring the name.
We will not bring the name.
Of Yahuwah our El.
Yahuwah our El.
In vain. For Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished. Who brings his name in vain. We will remember the Shabbat day.
We will remember the Shabbat day.
And keep it Kodesh.
To keep it Kodesh.
6 days we will labor.
6 days we will labor.
And do all our work.
And do all our work.
But the seventh day.
But the seventh day
is the Shabbat.
Is the Shabbat.
Of Yahuwah our El.
Yahuwah our El.
For in 6 days.
For in 6 days.
Yahuwah made Shamayim.
Yahuwah made Shamayim.
And the earth.
And the earth.
And the sea.
And the sea.
And all that is in them.
And all that is in them.
and rested the seventh day.
and rested the seventh day.
Therefore, Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day.
Therefore, you will Barak the Shabbat day.
We will respect our fathers
We will respect our fathers
and our mothers,
and our mothers,
so that our days are long
so that our days are long
upon the earth.
upon the earth.
We will not murder.
We will not murder.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not commit adultery.
We will not steal.
We will not steal.
We will not bear false witness
We will not bear false witness
against our neighbor.
against our
We
neighbor.
will not covet
We will not cover
anything
anything
that is our neighbor.
that is our neighbor. Father Yah, we give thanks for the opportunity to gather together, Father, to be diligent unto your word, to be obedient unto your commandments. Father, we thank you for this day, this set-apart day, this Shabbat, Father, in order to give reverence unto your name and to cease from work, Father. We thank you, and we ask, Father, that you would allow your spirit to be with us, Father, allow wisdom to be imparted upon the hearer, Father, allow utterance to be given unto the speaker, so that we all may be doers, Father. Father, we pray for those people who can be here with us today, Father, that you would continue to watch over them, Father, lead them into all truth and righteousness, Father, according to your word, Father. And all these things we pray and we give thanks for Shem Yehovah, Bekai Yoshua, Hamashiach, or Ruach HaKodesh, so be it.
So be it.
Yeah. All right, y'all gonna have to mute your phones, please. Please. Turn your radio down. Turn your radio down. Shabbat Shalom. How's everybody? I know Sister Kamala and brother, what is it, Ishmael? If y'all wouldn't mind introducing yourself to everyone, this is not just something we got to everybody who's visiting with us for the first time to just introduce to the family, so everybody can be properly a proper introduction.
I am Kamala L. I was invited by Mr. Donnie here, and I don't know exactly what to say, but I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome.
My name is Ishmael L. I'm glad to be here today. It's like a nice crowd. I hope I can come back.
I just want to formally, we already spoke, but I want to formally welcome both of y'all and say anytime y'all want to visit with us, feel free. You're amongst family. We're going to have the opportunity in the future to actually so you can address everybody. We can, you can allow us the opportunity to understand what it is that you have to present, because it sounds like some heavy material that we need to be about. So thank you for coming, and we hope to see you again soon. So today's lesson is gonna be brief. It's not very long at all. But it's of course keeping with the theme that we have going with we're reading and expounding on the law in a more in-depth I guess fashion once a month. So rather than just read through the law, we're gonna actually read and expound so that it can be broken down completely and we can get good understanding from what's being presented. I like to share with y'all my method in studying. So when it is that you're actually doing your own study, that you kind of see the way that I go through the process when I study. So just like always, well, at least when I bring it, let's start in Nehemiah, the 8th chapter. Sorry for the late start, but there was a few difficulties today. Nehemiah, I said it was right. Nehemiah chapter 8 and verse 1.
The book of Nehemiah, chapter 8 at verse 1. And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which Yahuwah had commanded to Israel.
That's good. So we understand once again that it says all the people gathered themselves together as one man. As one man, meaning like we had the analogy in the Gospels and such, that one body, right? One body, everybody being on one accord, even though we had different positions and we operate in different facets, but one body, one man on one accord. Read.
And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation.
He brought what?
Brought the law before the congregation.
And what happened?
Both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding.
And all could do what?
And all that could hear with understanding.
And everyone that could hear with understanding, he brought the book of the law before them and did what?
Upon the first day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate, from the morning to midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand. And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law.
Read that part again.
And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law.
And the ears of all the people were attentive unto the book of the law. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry. Jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. So they read in the book, in the law of Elohim distinctly, and gave the sense, and caused them to understand the reading.
Okay, so gave the sense. It caused them to understand the reading. But all I get understanding. So it's not just about reading through the law, but reading and expounding so that we understand exactly what it is that we read to the fullest extent, right? Not just the surface stuff, but to the fullest extent. What exactly are we reading? So I know we started in the beginning in the book of Bereshit, in the book of Genesis, right? We started with I know we done went through Adam and Eve, we done went through Cain, we went through the flood, we went through Sodom and Gomorrah, we went through Abraham and Isaac's situation. So we're gonna pick up after that with Genesis, the 23rd chapter. And then we like I said, this is gonna be brief. It's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot. It's not gonna be one of those, oh man, that was deep type of deals, but it's gonna be information. You know what I'm saying? And I'll explain as we go along why I believe that this information is important. Not just the information be important, but the way that the information is obtained is of the utmost importance. So Genesis, the 23rd chapter, is about the death. Well, it's not necessarily about the death, but what Abraham did after Sarah, his wife, died. Right? So we'll start there with Genesis chapter 23, verses 1 and 2. So I'm going to need y'all to be with me because I'm going to be asking some questions. So need some critical thinking might have to take place. Some not so critical thinking, but we're going to get through it together. So Genesis 23 and verse 1.
Genesis of Bereshit, chapter 23 at verse 1. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died, and Kirjath Arba, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her.
Okay, so Sarah died, 127 years old. And she died in Kirjath Arba. And the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So, when reading this, the first thing that stuck out to me, of course, was the name of this place that she died. Because I never heard of it before. Never had read it before. And so I was curious about it, right? And so I asked myself, well, why is it important for the author of this book to state that it was the same as Hebron? Why do you think that was important? Anybody?
Hebron's died in the same place?
Hebron and this place, Kiryat Arba, is the same place.
Okay.
Why do you think it's important? Why do you think that the author pointed that out? Yeah. But what? Why?
Something important took place at Hebron.
True.
What was it?
True. A lot of important things took place at Hebron. But okay, so first it go like this. Here's where the critical thinking part come in, right? Who wrote the book of Genesis? Moses, right? Is it a first-hand account? Was he there? So at the time when Moses wrote this, right? If the name of this place wasn't called Kiryat Arba anymore, it was called Hebron, right? But at the time when Sarah died, it was called this, right? So it might be important to let him know that this is the same place. She died here, and it's the same place as this. It's the same exact place, but it wasn't. It's a historical thing, right? In order to keep track of the history, this place was once called this, right? So when you look up this, the name of this place, right? Kiryat Arba. Let's look it up in the Brown Driver's Briggs. It's H7153. And so it literally means city of Arba. Early name of the city, which after the conquest was called Hebron. What conquest is he talking about? Well before that. Exactly. So, city of Arba, right? So, my next question was, who in the world is Arba, right? Or what is Arba? So when you look it up, Arba literally means four or fourth, right? For those of us who is in Egypt, Arba is the same word in Egypt for four. I mean, in Arabic for four, but it literally means four or fourth. But it's the definition is the father of Anak and the greatest of the giants. So we're familiar with Anak and the Anakim, right? They was giants. They were a giant race of people, and Arba was the father of Anak. So imagine these people are called Anakim, right? Arba was the daddy. He was Anak's pops. So similar to what we got three major patriarchs, right? Being who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But our nation is named after who? Israel, right? It's named after Jacob, right? But Abraham is really the one who the promise was made with. But our nation is named after Jacob. So though the nation was Abraham is actually like, as it pertains to, I guess, a hierarchy, Abraham would be higher, bigger, right? So this dude Arba, even though the Anakim was a giant race of people and they were some bad people, this dude Arba was the baddest of the baddest. He was the mightiest of the giants, right? So I'm not sure if y'all familiar with the story of Anak and the giants and all that stuff, but we're gonna go through a few scriptures to kind of give you some backdrop on why this is kind of significant. So let's go to Joshua 14 and verse 6. So y'all can see that, like, when going through and studying this law, in 2 verses we're gonna dive real deep into the backdrop or the background or the significance of what's actually, happened or happening or is going to happen pertaining to these first 2 verses in particular. So Joshua chapter 14 and verse 6.
Joshua chapter 14 and verse 6. Then the children of Yehudah came unto Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Yefuneh, the Kentonite, said unto him, You knowest the thing that Yahuwah said unto Moshe, the man of Elohim, concerning me and you in Kadesh Barnea. 40 years old was I when Moshe, the servant of Yahuwah, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to espy out the land. And I brought him word again as it was in my heart. Nevertheless, my brethren that went up with me made the heart of the people melt. But I wholly followed Yahuwah, my Elohim. And Moshe swore on that day, saying, Surely the land whereupon your feet have trodden shall be your inheritance, and your children's forever, because you have wholly followed Yahuwah, my Elohim.
Okay, so we stop right there. So this is Caleb when they in Gilgal. Now Caleb is him and Joshua. Now him and Joshua, the only two that actually, well, I don't know. No, I'll take that back. The only two that was over the age of 20. Is it 20? I believe. Yeah. But that was over a certain age that actually survived the wilderness. Everybody else died. So it was only Caleb and Joshua that survived that was over a certain age. So he kicking it with Joshua. You got to understand, him and Joshua got to be like this at this point. They done spent 40 years walking through the desert together. So he like, you remember what Yahuwah said concerning me as it pertained to this land. Because Caleb was one of the ones who he sent out to spy the land to see before they crossed over the Jordan to see how the land was, right? So let's go to Numbers. Let's go to Numbers 13 and 25.
Numbers chapter 13 at verse 25. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moshe and to Aharon and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land.
So you have people they went and searched out the land. For 40 days they went and searched it out. And so they brought back word about what the land was looking like. Read.
And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither you sent us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it.
Like, man, this land is off the hook. It's milk, it's honey, and this, look at the fruit like it's live. Like we good. Go ahead.
Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities were walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there.
And so he like, the land is live, but the people that's in it, they some beasts. We saw the children of Anak there. They got cities that's walled. They some big dudes. Like, it's, go ahead.
The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses.
Okay, so imagine when he came, they're like, man, this land is, I mean, it's off the hook. But the people, they strong. I mean, you know how it is. They kind of felt intimidated. You're going to see that in the text. Go ahead.
And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let's go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it.
And Caleb like, let's forget people. Let's go right now. That way said, let's go up at once. Let's go right now. Caleb ready. Go ahead.
But the man that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, but they are stronger than we.
Man, them people, we can't go up against them. And remember the analogy he used. He said, we like grasshoppers in their sight. He was trying to say that's how big they are. They giant. We like grasshoppers in their sight. Because they were scared. And Caleb was the only one that was ready. Like, man, look, we ain't got to be scared of them. Go ahead.
And he brought up an evil report on the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
Okay, so notice what he said. We were in our own sights as like that's how we felt. We felt like some little puny like pipsqueaks compared to these people. And so of course to them that's how we gonna see. It wasn't in my opinion, it wasn't a literal thing. Like they was that much bigger than us that we was the size of grasshoppers. That's just how they felt because the people was mighty, they was great, they was strong. So this city, Hebron, is actually named for this dude Arba, who was Anak's father. That was the name of it. So let's bring it on back. Caleb talking to Joshua when they crossed over. Let's go back to matter of fact, let's go to Numbers 14. Numbers 14 and verse 24.
Numbers chapter 14 and verse 24. But my servant Caleb, because he had another ruach with him, and had followed me fully, him will I bring into the land whitherunto he went, and his seed shall possess it.
And his seed shall possess it, because Caleb was the only one. Like, I don't care how big they is. We got the Most High on our side. Let's get it right now. Let's go. But Caleb, right now, let's go. He ready right now. Immediately, he ready to get it. So going back to Joshua chapter 14, when him and Joshua was standing there in Gilgal, and Caleb like, remember what y'all said concerning this land to Moses about me, right? 14, let's start at verse 10.
Joshua chapter 14 and verse 10. And now, behold, Yahuwah hath kept me alive. And he said, these 45 years, even since Yahuwah spake this word unto Moshe, while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day 85 years old.
So at this point in time, Caleb was, he was 85 years old. 85? Yeah, 85 years old. So because he was 45 when it jumped off. They wandered for 40 years. He was 85. Go ahead.
As yet I am as strong as this day as I was in the day that Moshe sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now for war, both to go out and to come in.
Caleb, like, look, I don't care how old I am. I was 45 then, I'm 85 now. Let's get it. I don't care how old I am, I'm ready to get it.
We gotta get
right.
two of those coming up.
Exactly. Whether we go in there, they come in here. I'm the same dude I was then as I am now. Let's go. Go ahead.
Now therefore, give me this mountain, whereof Yahuwah spake in that day. For you heard us in the day how that Anakim were there, and that the cities were great and fenced. If so be Yahuwah's will be. If so be, Yahuwah will be with me. Then I shall be able to drive them out, as Yahuwah said. And Joshua increased him and gave unto Caleb the son of Yephuneh, Hebron for an inheritance. Hebron therefore became the inheritance of Caleb, the son of Yephuneh, the Kenizzite, unto this day, because that he wholly followed Yahuwah Elohim of Israel.
Verse 15.
And the name of Hebron before was Kiryath Arba, which Arba was a great man among the Anakim, and the land had rest from war.
So because Caleb went up in the city, smashed out Arba, who was a great dude, the Most High gave it to him, and now we changed the name. That's the whole backdrop. It used to be called this. It ain't called that no more because Caleb ran up in there, smashed out the dude. Nah, it ain't his city no more. Now it's called Hebron, right? So when writing this, right, and the people that's reading it, if he'd just put Hebron, they know nothing about the history, the backdrop of it until it's written. Now understanding, Joshua wrote the same thing that. It used to be called that, now it's called this. But Moses' writing was well before Joshua. Joshua wrote this well after Moses wrote his book, right? So it's just keeping with the same thing, like it's a historical thing, keeping the history, right? So let's go back to Genesis, the 23rd chapter. Genesis 23. So Sarah died in Hebron, right? Before it was Hebron. Notice this is Genesis. This before they went into Egypt, before they was led out of Egypt, before they spent 40 years in the desert, before they ran up in Canaan and took it over. This is before all of that. When actually, and you're gonna see in this chapter, we ought to get to it here. Let's start at verse. Let's go back. Verse 3.
Verse 3. And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake to the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of your burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my master. You are a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres, bury your dead. None of us shall withhold from you his sepulchre, but that you may bury your dead. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth.
Even to the children of Heth. Right? So, who are the children of Heth? The land that Abraham was in right now was the land of what? Say again? He was in Canaan. So the children of Heth were descendants of Canaanites, right? The sons of Heth were actually. So what do we know about the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites? They were supposed to smash them all out, right? When they came back into the land after East. So this is, like I said, well before all that. Abraham is dwelling in the land with these people, and notice the respect that they have for each other.
Right.
He like Abraham is like bowing himself, like, give me some place to bury my wife. And they like, yo, you a great prince among us. They had a mutual respect and understanding for each other. It wasn't like, they wasn't at odds at this point. They was cool with each other. They was like really had a lot of respect for each other. Even though Abraham is like, look, I know this ain't my land. I'm a stranger here. Because this y'all spot. Even though the Most High told Abraham you was gonna get it, it was gonna be yours. But at that time, he like, this y'all spot. Just give me somewhere to lay my wife, so to bury her or whatever. So let me ask y'all a question. When the children of Israel came into Canaan after that 40 years in the desert, what did they do with the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Hittites and the Hivites and the Girgashites and all that? What did they do to them? They fought them. What they won?
Yeah.
But what was
Destroyed them.
They destroyed them.
They were supposed to.
What happened to all of those different descendants of the Canaanites after the Israelites came into the land? Did they wipe them out?
Supposed to.
Did it?
No.
They didn't?
Not like them all.
So what did they do? What happened? They start hooking up, start having kids, and that was against the law, right? So we know that the Hittites, among other peoples, were still dwelling with the children of Israel, right? So, Hittites. Can anybody recall a Hittite of significance? Any one Hittite of significance that's mentioned in the scriptures?
No.
Say again? Uriah. Exactly. Let's go. Uriah. Let's go to 1 Samuel. I'm sorry, 2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 11 and verse 2. Right. More than cool. Right. 2 Samuel 11 and 2.
2 Samuel chapter 11 and verse 2. And it came to pass at evening time that David arose from off his bed and walked upon the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. And David sent and inquired after the woman. And one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?
The wife of Uriah the Hittite. So, and we know what he did with Uriah the Hittite, right? He sent them into war, sent them into battle on the front line to get murked out so he can have his wife. But what do that tell you? What do that tell you about Hittites? That they was actually part of the army. They was actually part of the. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 26, because a lot of times we believe, or we just don't even consider the fact that these people were still dwelling among the children of Israel. They didn't just go in and slaughter them and wipe them out, and now they're not in the land no more. That didn't happen. And we see this evident through David's account and also with Solomon. Remember, Solomon had some Hittite wives. But 1 Samuel 26 and 6.
1 Samuel chapter 26 at verse 6. Then answered David and said unto Amalek the Hittite, and to Abishai the son of Zeruiah, brother of Joab, saying, Who will go down with me to Saul to the camp? And Abishai said, I will go down with you.
Okay, so once again, you see, among the warriors was Hittites, right?
Loyal too.
Right, exactly, loyal too. Uriah was willing to go on the front line and died. You know, even though David did some scheming stuff to get his wife, you know, but it was evident. So this is even way back and after the whole the account through Exodus, and when they went through the land for after the 40 years or whatever, that it was Hittites still dwelling among the Israelites. As a matter of fact, let's grab 1 Kings chapter 9 and verse 20.
First Kings chapter 9 at verse 20. And all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able utterly to destroy, upon those did Solomon levy a tribute of bond service unto this day.
So all the people that was left of all of these people that they didn't completely wipe out, they became servants. They served in the army. They served other places, but this is Solomon. This is well after David. You know what I mean? But these people were dwelling. All of these people, these descendants of the Canaanites, were still dwelling there even during Solomon's time. And don't forget when. Let me grab it. Let me grab it right here. I think it's Second Chronicles. Second Chronicles. Give me 1 second. Find it. When they came back out of Babylon. Matter of fact, it's Ezra. It's Ezra. Ezra chapter 10. Yeah. Ezra. Go to Ezra chapter 10. So y'all familiar with the time frame surrounding Ezra and Nehemiah's writing? Anybody familiar with that? What significant event for the children of Israel had just taken place at the time when Ezra and Nehemiah's writing was happening? What significant event had just taken place at the time when Ezra? What's the history behind Ezra and Nehemiah's writing? What's significant? I mean, it's like one of the most significant events, other than the Exodus and other than, I mean, before the Messiah.
It's like one book. One book started right after the other of history. I mean, the time is.
Yes,
No, I'm talking to him. Go ahead. He was raising his hand. I was telling him his hands is invisible.
Oh, okay, my fault.
No, you're good. Go ahead. What you saying?
It's like the time of history is pretty much about the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
One book from another book, and it's like it should have been together, but
Right.
it was really separated.
They separated them, but they was probably authored by the same person.
Okay.
Yeah, you are correct. But what significant event detail are they detailing in those books?
Okay.
What are they talking about?
I give
What
you a
happened?
hint. Can I give you a hint?
Coming out of the Babylonian captivity, right? See, somebody is getting their study on. So when they came out of the Babylonian captivity, right? Ezra, Nehemiah, that's what we just really just read to start off the lesson in Nehemiah, the 8th chapter, when they brought out the book of the law and read it in front of the people or whatever, because they was trying to get back to making sure they kept the law and didn't get away from it, because that was what wound them up in Babylon in the first place, right? So in Ezra the 10th chapter, let's start at verse 1.
Ezra chapter 10 at verse 1. Now when Ezra had prayed, and when he had confessed, weeping and casting himself down before the house of Elohim, there assembled unto him out of Israel a very great congregation of men and women and children, for the people wept very sore. And Shechaniah, the son of Jehiel, one of the sons of Elam, answered and said unto Ezra, we have trespassed against our Elohim, and have taken strange wives of the people of the land.
Of the what?
Of the land.
Mm-hmm.
Yet now there is hope in Israel concerning this thing. Now therefore, let us make a covenant with our Elohim to put away all the wives, and such as are born of them, according to the counsel of my master, and of those that tremble at the commandment of our Elohim, and let it be done according to the law. Arise, for this matter belong unto you. We also will be with you. Be of good courage, and do it. Then arose Ezra and made the chief priests, the Levites, and all Israel to swear that they should do according to this word, and they swear.
That's good right there. So we see that even after coming out of Babylon, they had strange wives, right? They had wives, they had married, like he said, they got with them, like Snyder said, they got with them. They had wives of the people of the land. And so they like, yo, we can't go down this same path again. We got to get rid of them. Not just get rid of the wives and the kids. All the kids that was born of these strange wives, they got to go too. So they put them both away. They put the women and the kids away. Because the whole thing was they was trying to make sure they kept the law, because they had just did 70 years in Babylon. Right. They had just finished the 70-year sentence, was allowed to go back into their own land and rebuild. So the thing that threw them off, all the stuff that threw them off, they was trying to guard themselves against. Remember when they came trying to sell, and they like, yo, if you come up in here on the Sabbath day again, I'm gonna put my hands on you.
Right.
Like, no, like you trying to cause the people to sin. Like, don't come up in here selling stuff on the Sabbath. Matter of fact, close the gates. Don't even open the gates until the Sabbath is over. Period. Because they was trying their best to walk the straight and narrow at this point. Especially, you know how it is when you mess up, and then when you first get off punishment, you be straight in the very beginning. You know, you walk the straight and narrow for a little while until you start to get a little more comfortable. And then they fell off again. Yeah, they fell off again. They got comfortable. Start messing around again. All right, let's go back to Genesis 23.
So that you get pulled over.
Right.
I believe you're doing 25.
You know, when you in trouble, when you about to get in trouble, you be making deals and everything. I swear, if you just get me out of this, I'll never do it again. And you right back like you left something. Verse 8. We have verse 8.
Genesis chapter 23 at verse 8. And he communed with them, saying, if it be your mind.
Okay, wait. So this is Abraham, like, bowed himself unto the Hittite, the sons of Het, or the Hittites. Like, yo, just give me a place to bury my wife. And they like, yo, you a mighty prince among us. Like, you know, you a great man. So, like I said, the mutual respect. And like you're saying, he communed with them, right? Go ahead. Start that from the beginning.
And he communed with them, saying, if it be your mind that I shall bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he had, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you.
So he like, look, if y'all truly feel that way about me, holler at my, get my man's ear, tell him I want that spot right there, that cave right over there, the big one. I want that one. Yeah, no, whatever he want for it, I'm willing to pay. I'll take that one. Go ahead.
And Ephron dwelt among the children of Het. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Het, even of all that went in at the gate of the city, saying, nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I you, and the cave that is therein, I give it you. In the presence of the sons of my people, give I it you. Bury your dead.
So, my man, what's his name? Ephron. Ephron was like, look, you can have it, dude. You don't even got it. And in front of all the people, take it. By all means, take it. You ain't got to give me nothing for it. But, look, you familiar with Abraham?
Yeah.
How did Abraham handle taking handouts? You ever?
He was pay his word.
Exactly. That's how Abraham was. That was his way. He ain't take no handouts. Right? Let's grab Genesis 14 and verse 14. Abraham remind me of like my pops and my uncles and stuff. Like they didn't want to take nothing from nobody. They didn't take handouts either.
Bereshit chapter 14 and verse 14. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
Jump down to 16.
Verse 16. And he brought back all the goods, and also bought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
Okay, so these people have remember Abraham and Lot had parted ways, right? Lot went and dwelt in Sodom, Gomorrah, and all those cities of the plain. Abraham, he went where the Most High told him and just went. And he was like, all this land gonna be yours. So we understand they was in two different spots. And we had went through this lesson before. And the people had, some people who had a problem with my man who was king over Sodom, had ran up in Sodom and took a bunch of stuff. They took Lot, they took a bunch of goods, they took a bunch of livestock, they took some women, they took a bunch of stuff. And so Abraham, went and told his people, like, look, go ahead, grab your strap, let's go. He's like, get your hook up, let's go. Meet me at Dan. We got some business to take care of. So so Abraham and his people, they went and they armed themselves, and they went and they got Lot and all the people back. Right? Verse 21.
Verse 21. And the king of Sodom said unto Abraham, give me the persons and take the goods to yourself.
And so the king of Sodom was like, look, man, good Abraham, good looking out, bro. Just give me the people. You can keep everything else. You did thanks. Keep it all. And what did Abraham say?
And Abraham said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto Yahuwah, the most high Elohim, the possessor of Shamaim and Nearets, that I will not take from a thread, even unto a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is yours.
Look, man, I don't want nothing from you. That way say, don't even give me a shoelace. I don't want nothing from you, dude. Go ahead.
I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abraham rich.
Just then you're gonna be like, I put him on. He wasn't nothing without me. You know what I'm saying? Abraham, like, I'm good. You keep everything. I don't want to thread. I'm straight, because then you're gonna try to throw it back up in my face. Like, look what I did for you. Like, nah, I'm good. So going back to the story in Genesis 23, Abraham wasn't gonna take no handout. Flat out. My man was like, look, you can have it, you can take it. And Abraham, let's see what Abraham said. Verse 12.
And Abraham bowed down himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, but if you will give it, I pray you, hear me. I will give you money for the field. Take it of me, and I'll bury my dead there.
So if you're willing to give it away, then take my money. Go ahead.
And Ephron answered Abraham, saying, listen to me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that between me and you? Bury therefore your dead. And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Het, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant.
So Ephron was like, look, dude, it's 400 shekels. That ain't nothing for us. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, just take it, bury your dead. So Abraham like, all right, that ain't nothing. Here you go. There go your 400. You know what I'm saying? Take the money. Go ahead.
And the field of Ephron, which is in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Het, before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre. The same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Het.
Okay, so this land that Abraham purchased from Ephron, right? It's kind of like a famous spot. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just he bought it, buried Sarah there, and that was it. It was much more to it than that. Let's go to Genesis 25. Start at verse 9.
Bereshit chapter 25 at verse 9.
Matter of fact, verse 8.
Verse 8. Then Abraham gave up the Ruach and died in a good old age, an old man, and full of years, and was gathered unto his people. And his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah, in the field of Ephron, the son of Zoar the Hittite, which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Het. There was Abraham buried, and Sarah his wife.
Okay, so the same spot where he buried Sarah, and when he died, his sons took and they buried him. Let's go to Genesis 35. and verse 27.
Bereshit chapter 35 at verse 27. And Jacob came unto Isaac his father, unto Mamre, unto the city of Arba, which is Hebron.
Same verbiage, right? Notice that, you know what I'm saying? That's the same trend throughout the whole story, throughout the book. Go ahead.
Where Abraham and Isaac sojourned. And the days of Isaac were 180 years. And Isaac gave up the Ruach and died, and was gathered unto his people, being old and full of days. And his son Esau and Jacob buried him.
And his sons Esau, go to Genesis 49, verse 29. And his sons Jacob and Esau buried him. So when they buried him, oh, easy. They buried him in the same spot. Genesis 49 and 29.
Bereshit chapter 49 at verse 29. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron, the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron, the Hittite, for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Het. And Jacob had made an end of commanding his son, and gathered up his feet unto the bed, and yielded up the Ruach, and was gathered unto his people.
It was gathered unto his people. Now, when Jacob died, where were they living? Where were they?
In Egypt.
Right? So they had to carry they took his body to Hebron in order to bury him. They buried him with his father, with his mother, with his grandfather, with his grandmother, right? Genesis 47 and verse 29.
That was a big cave.
Yeah, it was a lot of land. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of land. You see, it said it wasn't just like a burial plot, but it said it had trees and it was a field, right?
That's why Abraham looked like that.
Right.
That one right there.
400 shekels of silver?
Don't matter what it costs.
Right. Back
That'll let you
then,
know.
that's the back then.
Right.
400 shekels of silver.
That'll let you know it was a big spot. He said, no matter what it costs.
Right.
Money's no object. 47 to what?
29.
Bereshit 47 and verse 29. And the time drew near that Yisrael must die. And he called his son Joseph, and said unto him, if now I have found grace in your sight, put, I pray you, your hand under my thigh, and deal kindly and truly with me. Bury me not, I pray you, in Egypt, but I will lie with my fathers, and you shall carry me out of Egypt, and bury me in their burying place. And he said, I will do as you have said. And he said, swear unto me. And he sware unto him. And Yisrael bowed himself upon the bed's head. Can you read?
Genesis 47, where you at?
That was verse 31.
That's good. That's good. Now, let's go to Genesis 50. We understand that Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, Leah, Jacob. I left somebody out.
Joseph.
No. Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rachel. Yeah. Isaac, Rebekah, Rachel, Leah, and Jacob.
Okay, so we came from Leah, and he was like Leah.
He did.
Yeah, he had to.
When he was with her, he didn't realize it. know what I'm saying? But when he died, he said, man, I done lost the love of my life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's deep, right? Do we got that on tape?
You try to pass that up.
No, we ain't got that on tape. We'll deal with it.
Let's go to Genesis 50 and verse 25. 25.
Genesis chapter 50 and verse 25. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from hence. So Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt.
Okay. So Joseph in verse 25 says, and Joseph took an oath, which means he took an oath. He required an oath from the children of Israel. Not that he made an oath, but he took an oath from them. They made an oath to him, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones from here. What do you think he was talking about?
He knew they was going to. He knew?
He knew.
He knew about that?
He knew. He knew.
That's crazy. That's deep.
It wasn't like, he wasn't just talking, like he was on his deathbed. He knew. Go to Genesis 15. Definitely.
Way back yonder, he told him. Way back yonder.
Genesis 15 and verse 13.
Bereshit chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with a great substance, and you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again.
That's good. So he knew because it was prophecy.
Right.
He knew because it was prophecy. The Most High told Abraham, who I'm sure told Isaac, who I'm sure told Jacob, who I'm sure told Joseph. I'm sure they all knew. Like, you know what I mean? They all knew. So when he told them in Genesis 50 and 25, and he says that Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry my bones from here. So he knew they was gonna leave. He know they wasn't just gonna be there. So when y'all leave, take my bones up out of here with you. Let's go to Exodus 13 and verse 19.
Going back home.
I guess he told him in 15. That's where you gonna take it to the burial place of your father. But he ain't get there.
You would think that they would bury them in the same place. But again,
So somebody broke.
no. They buried them. They just ain't bury them there. We're going to see. Exodus 13 and 19.
Exodus chapter 13, verse 19. And Moshe took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had straitly sworn the children of Israel, saying, Elohim will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones away hence with you.
Okay, that's good. So when Moses, when they on the Exodus, when they left up out of there, they took Joseph with him. Now, notice what Joseph said, even still, take my bones with you. He know his body wasn't going to be there. Take my bones up out of here. So when Moses left, when they left, like it wasn't no body to carry, they took his, because he was already gone and decayed. It had been hundreds of years. Let's go to Joshua 24 and verse 32.
Joshua chapter 24 and verse 32. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried them in Shechem, in a parcel of ground which Yaakov bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, 400 pieces of silver, and it became the inheritance of the children of Joseph.
So Joseph was actually buried in a spot that his father bought in Shechem, in a parcel of ground that Jacob said Jacob paid 100 shekels or 100 pieces of silver for. Now, I want to show y'all something. So we just read that part, right? Let's grab Acts chapter 7 and verse 15.
Acts chapter 7 and verse 15. So Jacob went down into Egypt and died, he and our fathers, and were carried over into Shechem and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham bought for a sum of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Shechem.
Now you see that? You see that?
Almost.
Y'all didn't notice that?
You ain't notice? You ain't peep that?
Abraham bought two.
So it just said that. Okay,
For him to be buried, and,
Oh.
how did he go for?
hold that. Just hold Acts.
I know you.
Whole Acts, and flip back to Joshua 24 and 32. And we're gonna read them back to back.
Joshua chapter 24 in verse 32. And the bones of Joseph, which the children of Israel brought up out of Egypt, buried they in Shechem in a parcel of ground which Jacob bought of the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, for 100 pieces of silver.
That's good. Now flip back to Acts 7 and 16.
And were carried over into Shechem and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham bought for a sum of money of the sons of Hamor.
Now what's the difference?
Abraham bought them from the sons of Hamor, and Jacob bought them from the sons of
Hamor.
Jacob and Abraham.
Right? It's something not right. One is saying that Abraham bought it. The other one is saying that Jacob bought it.
So it could be
So who messed up?
It could be where a person was sold it twice. His family, that's like you sold it to Abraham, but then after so long it's been vacant, and you give it to me and I sell it to the same. Is that possible?
It's possible, but there's no record of Abraham buying it.
Okay.
Let's grab Genesis 33.
Okay.
Genesis 33 and verse 18.
It doesn't mean legal stuff like that.
But it was, I mean, it's really a discrepancy in the text. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In one place it says that Jacob was the one that purchased. In the other part it says that Abraham was the one that purchased. But Genesis 33 and 18.
Bereshit chapter 33 and verse 18. And Jacob came to Shalem, a city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padanaram, and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel and pitched his tent before the city. And he bought a parcel of fields.
So Jacob, when he came back, he bought the parcel of field. Go ahead.
Where he had spread his tent at the hand of the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money.
That's good. So we see that Jacob was the one who actually bought it.
Right.
But in Acts, it actually said that Abraham bought it. This is really a discrepancy in the text.
Okay.
It's really like,
It's him getting paid. So
but it's like whoever actually wrote that in Acts, I think miswrote it.
so I think that can always be in Acts. It's not in Luke.
No. This account is in Acts. So this is the only time you're gonna find that. And I think that the person in Acts actually miswrote it because we see that Jacob was the one who bought it,
Right.
and we see that it mentions that in Genesis, and then in Joshua, and then it mentions it again in Genesis 33 when he actually purchased it. So in Joshua, talk about when they took Joseph's bones up out of Egypt. Now, mind you, they roaming 40 days and 40 nights in the desert with this man's bones. Like, you know, they was going, you know, they roaming with him to make sure that they buried him where, you know, he was supposed. So when they crossed over and back into the land, when they went into Shechem, that's when they put, you know, they buried his bones in the land that his father had already purchased.
We more loyal back then than we are today.
Say again?
We more loyal back
Oh
then
yeah.
than we are today.
Heck yeah. All right, like who gonna walk with some bones before, man? They gonna dig a hole right in the middle of that desert. Like ain't nobody never gonna know. Let me just put it. I can put these bones right here. Won't nobody see that? They ain't gonna know. He ain't gonna know he did already. Right? But but they traveled with his bones all that time. And once they finally came into the land, they went ahead and buried them in the land that Jacob had bought. And it don't mention where like his sons was buried, but I would probably think that they was probably buried right there with him, Ephraim and Manasseh or whatever. But everybody else was buried with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all of them. But I think that's the end of that chapter. Is that the end of Genesis 23?
Yep.
Yeah, there is. Well, I said it wasn't a whole lot of information there, but there was a lot of stuff that you could dive into, and that's why I said that's kind of like my thought process or my process when I'm studying in order to get through, you know, the information that's there, because when it comes to the law, like you got to read and understand exactly what's being said, so that if you see something like down the line, you can reference it back to that. But you got to have a jump off point or a starting point to even get to that point. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's pretty much that verse. I mean, that chapter. If anybody have any questions, the floor is open.
Back to Genesis 23rd chapter, 1st verse.
Mm-hmm.
It says Sarah died, and it concludes. The same is Hiram in the land of Canaan. So we went back there, and these was the same giants. The land that she was buried in was the land of giants.
Well, the sons of Anak were giants, right? But they wasn't even there yet. They hadn't even gotten there yet. Okay. Like I said, you're talking about way in the beginning where it wasn't a whole lot of people even in the land that just yet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You had, you know, the Canaan. There was still the land of Canaan or whatever. And when Abraham, when he ventured in there, he knew he was there among all the, you know, the strangers or whatever, and he let them know, like, you know, this, you know, I know I'm a stranger sojourning to your land.
Is these the people where, is these the same people where Abraham was scared of him? And
that was,
he gave his wife to sleep with.
That was in Egypt. That was Abimelech.
Okay. Oh, just don't.
Yeah, that was Abimelech. What's that? And that was before they even got there, I do believe.
Genesis 20.
Man, like,
yeah.
Please.
Yeah, Genesis 20 and verse 1 says, and Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur and sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said to Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. Yeah, so that was
King of Gerar.
Gerar.
Oh, different. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, king of Gerar. Yeah, so that was Gerar is. the town of the Philistines. So it wasn't even, that wasn't Egypt. That's my bad. He was amongst the Philistines.
Okay. That was only, there was only one big person in that group, and that was Goliath.
Goliath.
It was like they were big.
But no, they was big too, because I believe it said Goliath brother was big too.
Okay.
But yeah, they was big. They was considered giants. Stop right there. What you want? Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. What do you want? Go sit down. Go sit down. Yeah, so anybody else have anything? What you got up?
We talked about earlier, the city of Marwal and Hebron. And when I read, correct me if I'm wrong, like, did the name change have anything to do with Abraham building an altar there?
You said have anything with Abraham building the altar there?
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to see. Where trying to see where is
Like, what I'm trying to see is like, building an altar there is like modern day, like if I plant my flag in the city, that's my city.
right. Nah, it was because remember Caleb was given that land or whatever. So Hebron is actually one of the sons of Caleb. That was his name. So they named it. I think they named it after him. But that was part of Judah's inheritance too. So I think even in Abraham's day, it wasn't called Hebron until even after Moses, until well, no, it had to be Moses, right? Yeah, once Moses came on the scene. Yeah, anybody else? Nothing? All right.
Oh, the Hittites.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we know that we are chosen out, Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you see how God deals with other nations, I mean, not other nations, but just a group of people that's not of Israelites in our midst. Like David got punished for not crossing the Israelite, but crossing the Hittite.
Well, he didn't get punished because he crossed him. He got punished because he slept with the man's wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Law. Okay, gotcha. So okay, all right. That's
Yeah, it didn't really have nothing to do with Uriah.
and I had faith with Uriah. It was nothing like that.
No, it wasn't so much that as it was David. He went against the Most High by dealing with the man's wife. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So and then another thing that kind of got me is when there was a African, I forgot what type, but he was a ruler over the jewelry of the queen.
Right. In Ethiopia, talking about the eunuch.
Yeah, and he was studying Isaiah,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't Paul, that was
Stephen.
Stephen, and walked by, and the guy told him to meet someone there, and it was the Egyptian, and helped him to understand Isaiah,
Mm-hmm.
and then turned around and baptized him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, another nation was offered to be able to get baptized by the commune in our system.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it sounds like you're touching on the understanding that only,
Of course.
that only Israel.
can be saved.
Yeah.
Yes, which is that's not accurate.
Okay.
It's not an only Israel type of thing. It never was, and you see that, like I said, all throughout the hookup.
Right.
Remember when they came out of Egypt, it was strangers that was with them. It was
Right.
strangers that sojourned among them. You know, it was even in matter of fact, yeah, coming out of Babylon as well. Of course, we see how they was married to him. But even in Revelation.
With 24.
Yeah, and it says.
But that was all Israel, though. I mean, that was the 12. When you say 12, that's all Israel.
Okay, I got you. What's that? Revelation chapter 7. Chapter 7 and verse 9.
Revelation chapter 7 and verse 9. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man can number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes, and song and palms in their hand, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Salvation to our Elohim, which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb.
See that?
Yeah.
So all nations. So this is in the end, at the judgment, right?
Mhm.
After the 144,000.
Right.
So it never was a only Israel thing, but Israel was chosen to lead the other nations to salvation.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
A nation of priests and kings in order to lead the other nations into salvation. So
That's the order.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it never was a situation where only Israel could make it into the kingdom. But he chose Israel to lead everyone else properly. That's why we caught the worst punishment. What you got out? Okay, what was the question? Is it can you view that on here? I don't know. You know what the question is? And I don't know how you even view the live chat. I don't. Oh, wait. Yeah. I don't see anything. I don't see anything in the chat box. I think that's it.
Okay. So, I think Joshua.
Go ahead.
Joshua. That's Caleb, right? That's his name. Pronounced.
Yeah.
There's a time when I said that it was Thursday, he said, go drink. And some bent down and some stood up.
Gideon.
That's Gideon.
Mhm.
That's still Joshua.
No. Yeah, that's Gideon.
Okay.
That's after Joshua.
Okay. And that was another.
All right.
Let's go after Joshua. Okay.
Yeah, that's after Joshua.
All right, the Ak question was, this is from the Ak Hezekiah. He said, Shabbat Shalom, family. I want to know if the names of all the other people of other nations in the land were changed. It says, I want to know if the names of all the other people of other nations in the land were changed.
I'm not sure if you're talking about like change
Now
or change back then. Or,
Oh, he said like, were they changed or were they, like he said, Uriah, was Uriah's name changed or were they all called by Hebrew names? Like you got Hebrew names in there in the book, but were these nations names?
I mean,
changed?
think that his name was Uriah, saying the fact that he had Yah in his name. Yeah, I would believe that his name was actually Uriah, considering the fact that he dwelt among Israel and he was probably born among Israel. He would be given a name, you know what I mean? That was, you know, they would speak what would be considered like the common tongue, you know what I'm saying, among the people. You know,
Just like us today.
exactly, just like us today. You know. But I wouldn't say all the names changed, but I don't think his name was like something different and they changed it to a Hebrew name. Nah, I'm pretty sure that was his name just because he was born among Israelites.
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it. What I see.
But
It was said to me in order to get the word to the people, to get them to understand about the word of Yah, you have to adjust to them. I said, no, but you don't have to come down to their level to get them to understand the word of Yah. He was saying, in other words, you got to go with their flow and then get them to understand the word of God. You don't do that because you can blaspheme the Most High by doing that. You don't have to go to their level to get the word to them.
It depends on what the brother's talking about. He could be saying like meet them where they at. You know what I'm saying? Like we know the name of the Most High is Yahuwah and different things like that. We'll use, you know what I'm saying? We'll say Father. You know, just meeting them where they at.
she was saying that somebody, Yeah, she was saying that somebody has said to her that in order for someone to get the word of the Most High, that you got to come down to their level, or you got what was it?
Yeah, he in other words, like especially he made it for young people. I'm gonna go down to their level, like they curse and all this, so I'm gonna do like they do to get the word to them.
That's
you
the
don't have to do that.
You know, not that deep. Like
Right.
when you talking about meeting somebody where they at, it's like not using terms that they're not familiar with, or not, you know what I'm saying, just like going over the top with the stuff that you know with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just meeting them where they at. Saying where they coming from, and building off of that, not saying, oh, if you breaking the Shabbat, I'm gonna come break the Shabbat with you.
Right.
To get you to understand we gotta keep the Shabbat. That don't work like that. That's not how that goes.
That's what he was trying to tell me, and I was like, I don't think that's how that goes. You need to come to class and listen. Brother said, I don't think that's how it goes. You don't have to break. You can go against the Most High trying to teach somebody, then you don't say it.
You don't do that.
You can't come down to their level to teach them something. You're saying it all at the same time. But he knows so much. He didn't want to hear me. You know, I know what the Most High put on my heart and what to do. I'm like, okay. That's just in case he's watching on that YouTube. You let him know. You know.
Well, yeah, that doesn't make sense. So it's like he's saying, if somebody is involved in folly, in order to lead them to the Most High, you get involved in folly. That doesn't make sense, because you're supposed to be an example. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to be an example. So we take the example of the Messiah, right? He went and he did eat with, you know, with people who was viewed as like, sinners, exactly. But but he didn't do what they did. He ate with them. He talked with them. So it's not like you supposed to be so to where you can't have a conversation about the word with somebody who's on that level. But you don't bring yourself down to that level here and here so that you know what I mean? You don't get involved in what they doing. You be an example of what they should do.
I got this.
Okay.
I got it.
He said, You can eat pork. It says in the Bible you can eat pork.
Oh,
It said he don't go back on his word.
Just
Okay.
keep this. It's Romans 2:17. Behold, you are called a Jew or Yehudim, and rest in the law, and make your boast of Elohim, and know his will, and approve the things that are more excellent, being instructed out of the law, and are confident that you yourself are a guide of the blind. So anything he's saying he's doing, right? I'm just showing up with, right? He claimed he know the law, all of these different types of things, right? It says, a light of them which are in darkness, an instructor of the foolish, a teacher of babes, which have the form of knowledge and of the truth in the law. You therefore which teach another, teach you not yourself? You that preach a man should not steal, do you steal? You that say a man should not commit adultery, do you commit adultery? You that abhor idols, do you commit sacrilege? You that make your boast of the law through breaking the law, dishonor you your Elohim. For the name of Elohim is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written. So basically, you can't be going around preaching this stuff if you ain't living it. You can't say, oh, well, brother, since you eat pork, give me a rib while I'll tell you about the Most High. Right. That ain't how that works. It's like backwards.
We can eat anything, and you were saying that we can't eat anything.
That was Romans chapter 2, beginning at verse 17, all the way down to verse 23. Matter of fact, verse 24.
There's a couple seats right here, brother. Yeah. But what he said, we can eat anything. Like based on what?
Everything. We can eat pork. I was like, he don't go back on his word. He said for us not to touch the carcasses of a pig. So he was just saying that it was a demon in the pig and don't eat it because I was like, no, baby, you got that all wrong. I don't understand. He was a young man who thinks he's so knowledgeable about this stuff, and I'm trying to tell him he don't go back on his word. If he said no, don't, then don't.
Chapter and verse. That's all you gotta do. Chapter and verse. And that's what you're saying. Chapter and verse. Give me the book, chapter and verse, please.
The guy don't seem like that.
And what he gonna do is hand it right. No, I don't need it. That's what he gonna do.
I read it. You got a different interpretation.
This one you read, King James. Another King James. Here you go. Show me there.
He don't go back.
Oh, you want the separate? Show me there.
Ain't no such thing as halfway crook. Ain't no such thing as a halfway.
Well, you had another question?
It seems like sometimes you face with that when it comes to Peter dreams.
Right, exactly.
Then they say, well, that's mean eating. That just means pretty much going after the Jews.
I don't see enough
Hellenized Jews.
right?
But that's when you're dealing with Peter's dreams, just go to the end.
Yeah.
Just go to the end. All you gotta do is go to the end through all that stuff when he's like, yo, but no, I ain't never ate this, I ain't never ate that. And so Peter himself was confused. Then when you go to the end and it says, then Peter understood that call not, any man common. It wasn't talking about food at all.
I got another question. This is from Azariyahu. Shalom. It says, Shalom, fam. Could the discrepancy in Acts be because of something regarding the Septuagint translation?
It could be, but at the same time, there was no Septuagint. Acts wasn't a part of the Septuagint. You said what?
It might have translated from Acts from the Septuagint.
To put that in Acts?
So we got to see what the Septuagint says.
It could be. I don't know if the Septuagint said something different. I looked into it. I didn't see anything that upheld with Abraham. No, I looked at a few different places. I can check the Septuagint. In fact, I check it right now.
Yeah, check the Septuagint, because I got it the way that I think it happened. Like if somebody is writing this stuff out, it's just like we talking about shorthanded, when somebody's shorthanded writing out the script, right? Certain discrepancy of names or how a name is spelled in Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look at what it says. Go ahead and look at Septuagint before I say what I say.
Have to be, what are you talking about? Looking at the
X, the description.
no X in Septuagint.
Okay, so what,
No, look that up. Look that verse that you got up that say,
That Jacob brought it.
right.
That Exodus 33 and 19. Or no, it's Joshua 24 and 32. So the question was, did the discrepancy in Acts, is it due to something that was written in the Septuagint? And the children of Israel brought the bones of Joseph out of Egypt and buried them in Sikma, in the portion of the land which Jacob bought from the Amorites. Say Jacob in there too.
Oh, not from the Septuagint.
And Genesis 33 and 18. And Jacob came to Salem, the city of Shechemah, the land of Canaan, which he departed from Mesopotamia to Syria and took up a portion. And he brought, no, let's say Jacob took two. Genesis 33, Genesis, Genesis 33 and 18 through 20, and Joshua 24 and 32. Anybody else have anything? What it is.
I don't think it's going like that. I think it's somebody something right.
Okay, shalom. Let's go ahead and pray out there.